No matter what it is that you're specifically curious or interested in, now there's more of that available to you than ever before.
This is Velocitize Talks, and I'm Andy North. My guest today is Chaz Lacaillade, CEO of Bottle Rocket Management. Chaz, thank you for being here.
Hi.
So let's jump in. Just tell me a little bit about Bottle Rocket Management, some of the exciting clients you have and the work you're doing.
So I started my career, just to give some context and background, I started my career in traditional talent management at ICM, International Creative Management. And after a few years of working at a traditional talent agency, really a startup called Fullscreen was really new on the scene, and they were working with YouTube talent specifically. So I applied to a job at Fullscreen and became one of their first employees, and I became kind of a one-man army, and I started kind of booking a lot of deals for talent with brands. And after 2 years, AT&T bought Fullscreen, and I said to leadership at Fullscreen, like, if you're going into content production and distribution, which is what they were going towards at that time, I want to maintain this path of talent representation. And I spun off, and that was in 2015, and created Bottle Rocket Management.
And your title is CEO, obviously,
Correct.
But you wear a lot of hats there. In fact, you've done a lot of content production yourself.
Yeah, as CEO, you have to, especially when you're at a company of one, you have to be head of business development and public relations, and you have to do account management, and accounting is everything, right? I started Bottle Rocket with 3 clients, and now I have 30, and it's been great because from over the course of 3 to 30 clients, I've been able to work as a producer on certain projects that have been really, gotten great exposure on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, and been able to, sell a book that was a bestseller for one of my clients, book my clients in various theatrical and television opportunities.
And you've done some other series, obviously, in the family and in the.
I've done a variety of series. And they've all been learning experiences. So, and another series I did was called We Are Savvy, and that was for YouTube Premium, and that was starring my client Annie LeBlanc. She was the face of this teen girl magazine show where she and these teen colleagues would just kind of give advice on various issues that teenage girls face. Mm-hmm. None of which I'm very familiar with. I did my best to be responsible and drive the process forward.
So you were instrumental in the monetization of some of these YouTube stars. They were on a new medium that they obviously had a lot of people that liked watching. And the way to monetize that was to bring them with brands that wanted to pay them to support their brands.
Exactly.
How has that growth been, and where do you see that going?
We've grown by revenues have grown by 100% every year. And I have to do a lot less education now. When, there's a saying that you can tell the pioneers because they've got the arrows in their back. And when Bottle Rocket was starting, I was definitely dodging a lot of arrows because it was unto me to explain what a YouTube integration or a product integration would look like on a YouTube channel, how my clients would interact with the brand, the benefits, the return on investment, what was appealing and advantageous to the brand about working with my clients. All of that, I started at square one with almost every phone call, which is exhausting. It takes a lot of energy.
Do you feel like, and you may be the wrong guy to ask because it's your job, but do you feel like to a certain extent that we've jumped the shark from authenticity of some of the YouTube stars to, now they're all just paid by the man or paid by XYZ brand? Or do you see it's still very much the Wild West?
So whether or not you're being paid, I don't see as being the problem or a challenge or a obstruction to the connection with the audience or the general authenticity of the message. When things become less productive and more questionable is when the talent isn't being transparent with their audience and their followers about what their motives are and who they are.
Okay.
So I don't see like a talent. I don't see when talent become, working in they're promoting a product, endorsing a product, reading from a script. There's nothing dishonest about that process. It's only dishonest when the talent's dishonest about why they're doing it, why they're drawn to it, why they view it as an opportunity.
So as long as there's still a level of transparency
Correct.
and genuineness and authenticity, it's okay to start adding brands to that mix.
Yeah, absolutely. And if your fans are really a fan of you, then they want to see you be successful, and they'll know once the production gear and the studio gets a little bit better that you're trying to give them an elevated experience.
Right. We at WP Engine, we did a study on Gen Z, and
Right.
one of the questions that we asked was, if you could have a college degree and no internet, or unlimited internet and no college degree, which would you choose? And in the U.S., it was predominantly no college degree and unlimited internet, because they can learn on the
Correct.
internet, obviously via YouTube and other channels.
Yeah.
But given the volume that is out there, do you think we've reached peak video content? Are there enough eyeballs out there for the video that's being uploaded?
There is a massive amount of content being generated and distributed online. Last I heard, more than 100 hours of content was being uploaded to YouTube per minute, which is overwhelming and incredibly
That's
fast.
amazing.
But the upside to that is no matter what it is that you're specifically curious or interested in, now there's more of that available to you than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
So because there's so much content out there, if you want to acquire a skill that you don't have the money to pay tuition for, well, then you can self-educate on that matter.
How are you advising your clients to stand out amongst all the video and all the noise that's out there?
I think that they just have to have a unique idea and be persistent. And it's the same way you'd stand out kind of in any crowd, whether it's film or music or the written word. Like what you have to, what you are, selling or communicating or trying to establish has to be novel, but it has to be novel, it has to be relatable, and it has to be interesting enough to you so you can push it and communicate that message on an ongoing basis for however long it takes for the other people that you're competing with to fall away.
So, putting your CMO hat on now,
Yeah, right.
How do you see the future of digital media continuing?
Right.
Obviously, you have to market your clients. Your clients have to market themselves as well. Do you see this? What do you see for the future of digital media 3 to 5 years down the road?
I think there's going to be a strong voice component with the HomePod, with Alexa, with Google Home, and people are going to be receiving media passively. They're going to be, queuing playlists, listening to podcasts, making orders for consumer goods, et cetera, via voice.
Right.
And I think that's going to be playing a big role in media consumption.
Is there much emphasis on personalization now with some of your clients and in the social media world and influencers truly getting down? There's a saying that in the future, instead of there being one website for 1 million people, there will be 1 million websites for one person who all know exactly what that person wants and needs and likes.
Well, people create the experience, are able now to create the experience that they want, because they've got so many choices. So you're able to self-select what your ecosystem looks like, whereas before you had 57 channels on your television. So I think personalization is going to be via algorithmic suggestions based on what your tastes are on those platforms, and then what you're seeking to learn about or view or consume on those platforms. So it's going to happen, via the platform that you're consuming the content on, and then via your own pattern of choices.
Are your clients, particularly your newer clients, are they much more marketing savvy than they initially were as you started recruiting?
Absolutely. You test and learn. The test and learn aspect of social media is profound, and you can see how the audience responds, specifically what they respond to, when in the video they dropped off, how much of their video you watched, what the audience responds to with various controls adjusted. So different music, you can A/B test on digital media like none other. So,
and they're incorporating that feedback into the content.
Title, like how they title a video, how they caption a video or an image or a post, the font, the emojis.
Really?
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's fascinating.
So they become better, sharper and sharper at it until they know exactly what to do to provoke what reaction.
I would assume that the trend is towards shorter and shorter videos.
No, not on YouTube. It's longer and longer
Is it?
because YouTube wants you to stay on the platform, and so they reward people who make longer content. YouTube rewards creators who create longer content because that means people are exposed to more ads, and then they're on the platform for longer. So YouTube wants its platform to act as television.
Right.
And so not just something you dip in for a 2-minute video on how to repair your muffler.
One of the questions we ask all our guests is there a favorite book, blog, or podcast that you want to recommend to our viewers?
As far as books go, I'd recommend The Hard Thing About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz. It's fantastic. Ben Horowitz is the partner of Mark Andreessen in the venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz. And podcasts, I like the Joe Rogan Show. I'm a huge fan of the Joe Rogan Show. Hardcore History, Dan Carlin, and there's a number of other ones that I'm a big fan of. I like Disgraceland. I don't know. That's a music-based podcast. It's quite good.
Well, that's awesome. Well,
okay.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
My guest today has been Chaz Lacaillade, CEO of Bottle Rocket Management. Chaz, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.